Twoje miejsce docelowe jest właśnie tutaj. Typowy kierowca autobusu. Jesteś na miejscu. Zapraszam do oglądania. Jarosław Juszkiewicz.
Hello. Welcome to Sarajevo, to the capital of Bosnia and Hercegowina. I hope that you have slept well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh yes.
You went somewhere partying yesterday?
Oh. No party, just sleep. It was a party.
So we now start the first part of this tour. We go to the Tunnel of Hope, Tunnel of Survival, we called it, because during the wartime, I don't know if you have heard about, I mean, you have not been born, you were not born at that time, from 1992 to 1995, there was a big siege.
Dylan was. I was.
Ah, you were a baby.
I was a baby.
So you don't remember.
No.
So we will go to the Tunnel of Hope that saved the city. We can say completely saved the city, because we were the part of ex-Yugoslavia. You already know about that. There used to be 6 republics: Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro and Macedonia. And one moment that beautiful country disintegrated in 1990s. So I will explain you there on the spot how it happened. I will not be too long, maybe, because not to be boring for you, but unfortunately that country, you know, during the Cold War, when the Cold War happened after Second World War, that was URSS bloc and Western bloc, and Yugoslavia was the only country in this part of Europe that said no to Stalin, to the Eastern bloc, you know. And as it was a Slavic, Yugoslavia means the country of South Slavs. Actually, Stalin expected South Slavs to be the part of URSS. So he was very angry. And there are rumors telling that he tried to kill Tito, our president at that time, to assassinate him. And these are just rumors. It's not like 100% verified, but Tito answered him, "I know that you have tried several times, don't make me try once." So he was like strong hand to Stalin, but at the same time he didn't want to be the part of Western bloc, because he was against just capitalism. So he created with Nasser and Nehru a third no-aligned movement. Have you heard about no-aligned movement? In the 50s. It's Nasser from Egypt, Nehru from India, and Tito who created the no-aligned movement. So it's third world, actually. It was the third world. All Southern America, Africa, Asian countries, and Arabic countries, all the, like we can say, Southern Hemisphere. So the Yugoslavia was the leader. And it was the only tampon zone in Europe where people from Western Bloc could come to the seaside and from Eastern Bloc. So we had Polish people, Russians, Czechs coming to the seaside, that could not go to France at that time. It was Iron Curtain. Have you heard about Iron Curtain? Yes. You couldn't cross Iron Curtain. So, for example, you couldn't go from Poland to France, from Russia to France, to Czech Republic to France, or Germany, or Western country. And vice versa, you couldn't go from France and Germany to Poland, to Czech Republic. There was Iron Curtain. But people from the two blocks could come to Yugoslavia. We were like tampon zone. And that was the Fourth Army of Europe. So Yugoslavia had reputation. And that was the only country that liberated itself from Nazi without the help of allies, Americans and British. So, okay, we can talk about this way for hours. Okay, we can maybe start. I will talk to you now. I will continue that story about disintegration of Yugoslavia when we come to the spot. And I will show you the maps. Well, but on the way, I will show you, you know, this city, maybe it's hard to imagine, but this city in the, from 1992, from the 5th of April 1992 to the end of 95, actually the beginning of 96, that the Dayton Peace Agreement was signed, was under siege from Yugoslav army. It's very hard to imagine. Imagine you come from Australia, mostly, or whatever. Imagine your own army from your country attacking your own city. It's impossible. It's schizophrenic. I mean, you cannot imagine that. So what happened is that Yugoslav army that was paid. This is National Museum, by the way, in front of us. And very soon you will see. But you see under this facade on the right side these holes. These are the holes from the bullets. It's still, if you look carefully, you can see many buildings that still have these scars dating from that time, from the siege of Sarajevo, you know. On the right side you will very soon see the American embassy. You see how it is, how big it is. So you see who is the boss now. So we are now we are not under Russian influence, but under American influence here. And we are joking, telling that we are the 52nd state of America. Dayton Peace Agreement that stopped the war actually was signed in Dayton. Here on the right side there is a university campus, but here you can also see Tito statue. Tito, who was this guy who ruled from Second World War almost to the, he was dead in 1980. So he was like a dictator because it was one single party, socialist a little bit with some influences from communism, but still socialist party. And Yugoslav liked him because under him, under Tito, there was a period of we can say GDP per inhabitant was similar to that one in Italy, that in Italy or Spain. You know, actually, when you worked, the company gave you there was no unemployment rate. The company where you worked for, they gave you the flat that you could use, and then actually it became kind of your flat with the time. So you could go to the forest and relax, not like today, you have to really pay expensive for the flat, for example. And Yugoslavs say we had a dictator, but the best dictator in the world. And here is electric distribution company where my father worked during the war. Actually, we lived in the old town, which is like 6 kilometers from here on the other side. At that time, under siege, they cut water supply, electricity supply, coming back to the middle age of condition of life. So there was no fuel for the cars. See, he had to go by foot from the old town that you will see from your hotel when we will go to the city walking tour. You will see that it takes 10 minutes by bus, and I mean maybe not. Oh yes, 10 minutes by bus, but by foot is, I mean from this spot, yeah, 10 minutes maybe more. So he had to go by foot or by bicycle. But on 6 crossroads, because Serbian army, actually Yugoslav army was kidnapped by Serbian regime, by Milosevic regime, and then it became Serbian army. They had a plan of Great Serbia, and they have taken this part of the city. On this top of the roofs, on the other side of the river, they have put snipers, and these snipers have operated here, have targeted people on this alley. So this alley was called the Sniper Alley. And my father also went by foot every single day to work, because for men it's like you could go to the front line or to work. He is engineer in electricity, so he chose to work. But going to work, it meant that he had to walk. He said to me, he had to cross 6 crossroads. So 12 times when you come back 6 crossroads again. So 12 times a chance per day to be killed by sniper, plus shells. UN soldiers counted that on Sarajevo there was 329 shells that were thrown. 329, let's say 330 shells per day, plus snipers. So he said to me, I thought it would be, I would not see you again. I mean, me, my brother and my mother, because it seemed to him like a mission impossible to survive. And you know, on these crossroads as well, we will see the video in the tunnel, and you will see how the people cross these crossroads, and you will see the picture how how afraid they were, because each crossing just of the street it meant that you could be shot. So imagine 329 shells per day, and the siege lasted for 1,425 days. 1,425 days, multiply 329. So this is the number of shells that fell in the city. So you see, if you look at these buildings on the left side, you see these holes, big holes from the shells, and also bullets. There are a lot of new buildings on the right side, and you will see even downward the new buildings. But on the oldest facades, there are so many that have not been reconstructed yet. This is still Sniper Alley, and sometimes you will see in the tunnel they put some curtain, some kind of cloth, big cloth and curtain to protect from the snipers, or UN trucks, they just help people to cross. The people were hiding behind the trucks, UN trucks, or there were some bags they put, I mean, just improvisation. I mean, the life was improvisation. And then you realize that life is like a lottery. You are in the good place at a good moment, or in bad place, or in a bad place at bad moment. It's like luck. My father said to me he was like at the beginning of the world sitting next to his friend in the tram. Tram was still walking the first month of the siege, and like this friend was shot by the sniper. He was 10 centimeters from him. So it's just a luck. This is not this is an Olympic swimming pool. You know, the Sarajevo has been the host of Winter Olympic Games. Do you know the year? You don't know, maybe, or maybe yes. 1984 Olympic Winter Games. So there are 4 Olympic mountains around. You see on the right side this huge, ugly building. It's very ugly, and it's Russian style. You can see this kind of building in Moscow. It's very ugly, but it's very solid. So there was so many shells thrown on that building. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Just the window broke. It was the most secure building in the city. So that it is the place where television, national television, federal television, and Sarajevo television, local one, had date offices, and so the journalists worked there. That was more secure for them to stay at workplace than to go back home. So they took a bed and slept there. And now we will come very soon. We will see another building of. So this is on this building that we saw. There were journalists, TV journalists, and that was heavily bombed because they wanted to stop reporting from Sarajevo. They have also bombed post office to stop telephone lines. I couldn't reach my family. I went after 1 month to another city and then to France, and I stayed in France for 17 years in all, I think, when I just, several times I went to France. I still have French citizenship. I mean, it was, at the beginning normally it was planned that I would stay just for 6 months, and then as it didn't stop, we stayed. This is UN building. UN was in this building during the siege. It's still Sniper Alley. You see this mist, and during the winter months, or sometimes in autumn, you have this fog and mist. We are in the valley all around. There are 2 Olympic mountains on this side. And this is a newspaper, a written newspaper. Journalists from written newspaper called Liberation were there. You see this building, the grey one, how it's encircled with this hotel. You see how capitalism eats socialism. How capitalism wins over socialism. Because this building, these journalists, they were from the socialist time. They had good reputation. They were intellectuals in this newspaper. And they worked every single day under the siege. This newspaper called Liberation, Oslobođenje, was printed out every single day. and they got award, a lot of European awards after that. You see that building, and that building there were old people living. You see, nothing was saved, nothing was avoided by Serbian army. You see the state of the building still. It's the elderly home, so all people live there. It's completely destroyed. Yeah, the one there. You will see now the left side, you see? The same, we have 3 buildings where I was maternity unit. They were completely, they're still in ruins like that. So nothing was avoided, nothing was saved. Even when the people had to bury, I mean, when they went to funerals and to bury their friends, the friends of theirs, they were targeted. So people died on funerals. When they went to the funerals for some friends, they could die. So they had to bury people during the night to avoid snipers and shelling. Also, they had to cut a lot of trees because there was, Sarajevo, you will see on the map, was completely encircled. There was shortage of everything. Just humanitarian aid came on airport. But as it's cold, I mean, it's an Olympic winter city, so it's we have 2 months of snow. It's very cold, and they cut trees to heat. They had to improvise. I mean, as I said, it was coming back to middle-age conditions of life. So they cut the trees from the parks, from the school gardens, from the city, and then many trees were planted after the war. But they were much older before the war and bigger. Some people say that they had to burn their clothes to heat, or even sometimes books, you know. For the intellectuals, they say the worst thing is when they had to burn some books to heat. Yeah, they will start, I mean, this tour is a little bit, I mean, this part of the tour is a little bit depressing. I mean, it's talking about war. I hope you will be in the good mood anyway after that tour. But I mean, it's a part of history. Just that you know, maybe just to realize how we are privileged now to live in peace, and how peace is precious, and how you know, after Hitler they said no more that on European soil. And when you enter the tunnel, it's written, it's here the 20th century ended in Europe. And you have the wires, because Sarajevo was like a big concentration camp at the end of 20th century on European soil. That happened. And under the eyes of cameras, you know, there were journalists that were filming that for years. And the international community knew about that. I mean, European community first of all, and then international, of course, community. And people just felt abandoned. They say the worst feeling is the feeling of abandon, being alone, being alone, and abandoned by European fellow men first of all. And yeah, the tunnel is, you turn left. So here it's one of the district that has been, well, I mean, reconstructed, because that was also, it was all around was a front line, and now you have hotels, a modern one, because you have maybe noticed, and you will notice when we walk in the town, there are tourists coming from Western European countries, from America, Australia also, but Asian countries. You also have people from Arabic countries. So we also have tourists from Oriental countries coming in. In this area of the city, this part of the city, next to the airport, there are some hotels also that some for the people from Asia, for Arabic people. You will see on the right side the thermal baths, wellness, thermal resort. So it used to be it's the Roman Empire that these Roman baths were built. It's a thermal water, hot water, healing water with sulfur. So you also have jacuzzi, sauna, open swimming pool with this hot water, healing water. It's on the right. Wellness thermal resort. And you have these hotels, like bigger hotels around. And also it's a place for people to run and ride bicycle. It's flat. Because normally Sarajevo is very acrobatic city. You have a lot of slopes and it's hilly and it's in the valley, but this part is flat. And why this tunnel was so important? Because this, on the right side, we don't see it because now it's fog, but there's one Olympic mountain called Igman. That was the only mountain held by Bosnian army. So so that was the only chance for survival. It was the only chance for survival to link Sarajevo district, Sarajevo, with this Olympic mountain, you know. Because that was the only mountain that was held by Bosnian army. So it was the only chance to connect at least Sarajevo that was under siege, under tunnel, under airport, sorry. Under airport runway, to connect it with this part that was held by Bosnian army. And this was really the front line. These houses on the right side, they are the new houses. All that was rebuilt because all that was destroyed completely. It was really the front line. And this front line was held by Bosnian army. So we will come very soon to the tunnel in several minutes. Because we are around Sarajevo Highway Airport.
200 meters, turn left, then bear right. Turn left, then bear right.
Left or straight?
Yeah, maybe for you it's better that you go there because it's like tiny, some smaller street. I'm not sure that you can turn well. It's better maybe you go there than on the left side. You see, people have actually, you don't see here very well, but they have started the life again with the gardens in front. You'll go straight and then to the left.
After 200 meters, bear left.
So now you will understand better because you will see this airport that was taken by UN, by international community, and they said to the Serbian army, you cannot attack this airport and take it because if you try, you will be bombed by NATO. Actually, people from here, what they expected, they just expected at the beginning of the war, even before Bosnia, there was an attack of Serbian army, of Milosevic regime on Croatia. There was Dubrovnik that was bombed. That is the city almost, you know, like UNESCO. I mean, so beautiful city, very, very, very famous in Croatia. It was also bombed, and also Vukovar and some other cities in Croatia. It was already the case in 1991, so before Bosnia, 1 year before. And people actually, they just wanted military action of you. You just go straight. Yeah. They expected military action from international community, NATO attack, and political ultimatum, and nothing of that happened. Just humanitarian aid, but humanitarian aid didn't solve the problem. People, okay, got some food, that's okay, but it didn't solve the problem. They said it's like having a fox feeding the chicken and having a fox all around. Yes, and here you turn. Tunnel Spasa, tunnel of life, you see. Okay. There are so many buses also that come here, and it's a really visited place. It's the monument that is the most visited in Sarajevo. So they expected this military action, you know, or at least a political ultimatum, you know. But it didn't happen. So at the beginning, because they say if they have stopped Serbian army at the beginning of 1992, sorry, starting in April 1992, it would have saved 100,000 lives. Because in Bosnia, 100,000 people died from 1992 to 1995. We would have saved this huge number of lives. And also in Sarajevo, 11,541 people were killed and 1,601 children. All of this could have been avoided if just international community stopped the Serbian army all around, because it was all around Sarajevo. We don't see it really well now, but it's really in the valley, and this is airport runway. And so this tunnel was to link the district that is there in Sarajevo with this part here that was held by Bosnian army, and to link it with the mountain on the right side. You see one mountain. This is Idman mountain. That was the only mountain held by Bosnian army. So you see here they are fighting which way you will park. So you choose. Oh, go on the left, I think. It's the same actually. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? How they're fighting? What? Where you park? Where we should park?
So funny. I've never seen that before. Never done. No, here.
Just run straight.
Okay, now we will get off the bus and we will continue now in the tunnel. I mean, first of all, we will go in front of the monument.
160
That's so good. Oh, I haven't seen that one. But it's nice. Snot.
Just pops back up. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Bev. Thank you.
Thanks, Bev.
Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Thanks, Bev.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you for working on my photo. Oh, it's Pat. Legend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, black coffee. Thank you.
That makes so different. It was on social media.
1 hour later.
I hope that you have appreciated this first part of the tour. I mean, it's special part that is not funny one, but I hope it was educative for you and you have learned things, new things that you didn't know. So we now lead back to the hotel, and we will take also other people and we will go to the city tour to Sarajevo walking tour. You see this airport on the right side. So the tunnel goes all below this airport runway to the first district there, and all these mountains around, they were just used as a siege line.
Stop the beeping. The seatbelt on. The seatbelt needs to be on, so stop the beeping. Yeah, just stop the beeping noise. Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, you see on the right side you can see these mountains around that they would siege line. A lot of buses come to the tunnel. Sometimes now it's already, I mean, after summertime, so less buses than in July and August, but also actually in September and October we have also a lot of people that are students or...
Go left? The same way?
Yes, you go on the left side. Normally you could go also straight, but I'm afraid that maybe you could not turn. So you haven't passed with your previous groups like Sarajevo?
Very fascinating, very scary.
Yeah. You were not maybe born as well.
No, I'm 96, so...
You were born in what year?
96.
96.
Yeah.
Do you remember this this work?
Yeah.
It was broadcasted on television.
Yeah, I was like 8 or 10 years old. So I remember it.
It's on the right side now. For you also, is the first time in the Balkans?
It is, yeah. I mean, I was in Slovenia many times.
Yeah.
I've never
Never Croatia and Bosnia.
It's like the now roundabout. You can't turn right, you have to go around the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess that would be difficult.
So I'd be like, turn right. Just like, oh, just like, yeah. I was like, what?
Just a quick little...
Well, that's what it was in London.
I was always like doing this, and I was like, no.
There's, for example, this kind of old buses, but now they are replacing trams. We will have the new trams from Switzerland next year that are bought from Swiss company. Also trolleys, buses, but so many things to be. I wanted to tell to you that this part of Sarajevo is not the most beautiful one, because you know, Sarajevo has developed, it's in the valley, so it cannot be very large on the left and right side. But we will start the tour from the other side of the city, which is the heart of the city, the old town. And so old town, you will see medieval fortresses from where Sarajevo started, and that dates from the period when we used to be Bosnian Kingdom. It was the only period of the freedom, we can say, from 10th to 15th century in the Middle Age. First we had lords from 10 to 14, and to 14 to 15 we had kings. It was the only period where we really had our freedom, because we had all empires that came here. We had Roman Empire, in 229 before Jesus Christ up to the 2nd century. In 11th century, we had the influence of Byzantine Empire. Then we had Ottoman Empire from mid of 15th century to end of 19th, Ottoman or Turkish Empire. Then Turkish Empire sold Bosnia and Herzegovina for money to Austro-Hungarians. And we were annexed by Austria in 1908, but Austrians came to Bosnia in 1878. And as I said, Turks sold them Bosnia for money. Then we had the Austro-Hungarian Empire up to the First World War. And then we had Serbian Kingdom from the First World War to the Second World War. So we had many enemies coming here. I mean occupiers. So that's why they started to build always the cities under our kingdom on the mountains, on the top of the hills or mountains. Why do you think they started always to build the cities uphill a little bit? In order to protect the city, because you could see on the top of the hills the enemy coming, you know, the empires, different empires coming, because you could control the valley from the top. So that's why we will start our tour from the spot from where you see these fortresses from the Middle Age, when we used to be the kingdom, and it was secondary residences of our kings. The capital city wasn't Sarajevo at that time. The capital city where kings lived was Jajce in central Bosnia. And then you will see, this is a nice architecture. And then we became the part of Ottoman Empire from 15 to 19. Then you will see the old town is Ottoman style, is Turkish influence. And then the center of the city that is really modern is Austro-Hungarian style, like in Austria and in Hungary. And this is the ugliest part, we can say, that is the socialist influence. It's really not so beautiful, you know, I mean, it's just a block of concrete and dorms for people to sleep in the buildings. And this influence of communist architecture, you know, which is not so beautiful, I can say. But, you know, we like this influence also of socialism and a little bit of communism. It has something, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit melancholic, a little bit sad, but at the same time you love it. It's like when you like a woman or a man that is not so beautiful, but you love him. You still love him, you know? This is a little bit this feeling. So this part of Sarajevo, this is it's not beautiful, but we love it. You see on the right side, these facades, you have these holes from the shells and bullets. This is Sniper Alley again, what you have seen in the video, where these cars that had fuels, you remember how fast they had to drive because they had to avoid snipers and shells. So here they have driven really fast, you know, and the people that were walking, they had to walk zigzag, like on the left and right side, and running or taking bikes. That was very dangerous to be here at that time. There is one story like Romeo and Juliet from Romeo and Juliet story from Sarajevo. You had a couple, she was Bosniak and he was Bosnian, Orthodox Bosnian Serb. They were in a, like, you can say, ethnically kind of mixed couple. And they decided to leave Sarajevo, to go to Western European countries, to live at peace together. But when they went, they tried to escape. Actually, Serbian sniper shot them on a bridge, and he was dead on the spot, and she was just wounded. She crawled crawled up to him, to his body, and then she hugged him and she died over him on his body later. And their body was there for 10 days. Nobody could approach because there was a big fire, like sniper fire, and everybody was afraid to be killed. So nobody dared to approach the bodies, to take the bodies, to bury them. So dead bodies, and she was hugging him, she was over him, remained there for days. So we called that Romeo and Juliet Bridge, Sarajevo. Because that was these kind of situations that you just couldn't approach even people that were killed. This is this is television, Bosnian television. You see, they still have not renovated it. I mean, I say this socialist, communist kind of architecture that is not beautiful but melancholic, and I don't know, you kind of love it. Like a person that is not so beautiful. Now when we approach, you will see the difference in architecture. It's still socialist kind of architecture here, with new buildings now. There are a lot of new buildings on the left and right side now. And then you will see how it changes. We come back to, I mean, as a city has developed like that. So 15th century, from 15 to 19, to 19 to 20, this Austro-Hungarian style, and in 20 it's this socialist kind. But the city has developed linearly, like in a line, like that. It's 11 kilometers long and not very, very large because of the mountains around. This is the top of the Olympic mountain there, where the bobsleigh disciplines were held. This is this crossroad where we have seen this woman with a little girl running, and this sniper, this Russian poet who came to shoot people to get paid for that. Because it's a sunny day, because we have had rainy days these latest few days. So it was rainy, so it's cool that it's not raining today. It's not so cold. Sarajevo city is 500,000. People live in Sarajevo, almost 500,000. I mean, a little bit less in the core of the city, but with the surroundings, it's almost 500,000 of inhabitants. So it's not a big city, but it's not a small one as well. When you say Bosnia and Herzegovina, there are two regions, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia is 80% of territory, and Herzegovina is 20%. It's just about the climate. In Bosnia you have continental climate, and in Herzegovina you have Mediterranean climate. So it influences the nature and the environment. So in Bosnia, where we are now, you have a lot of greenery, a lot of forests, pine trees. You have fertile land because there's a lot of humidity. So you have fruits like prunes, pears, plums. And in the south, Herzegovina, the most important city in Herzegovina is Mostar. And then the mountains in the south are white. It's a drier land, Mediterranean climate. It's hotter, and there's maybe lack of humidity yeah, it's a lack of humidity. So for example, you have Mediterranean plants and vegetation, you have vineyards, production of white and black wine, and you have these white stones like in Greece, Mediterranean white stones, and it's dry. So it's in Bosnia it's much more greenery. You have a lot of lakes in between the mountains, a lot of mountains. It's like poor version of Switzerland, a little bit. This is what Swiss also saying. It's similar, but poorer, yeah. But you have beautiful mountains. Actually, the landscape is an asset. You have a chain of mountains. There's a proverb that says if you could flatten all the mountains of Bosnia and Herzegovina, you could have the surface of Russia. There's so many mountains, and in between you have lakes and rivers. We have 6 potential of water supply in Europe. So there's a lot of hiking clubs. But the guy didn't, I think he stopped at the last minute. So there are a lot of hiking clubs in Sarajevo as well. People like hiking, going to the mountains, practicing sports. Also skiing. People from Sarajevo learn skiing when they are quite young. So beautiful landscape, and if you travel, you have maybe seen a little bit of the landscape of Bosnia and Herzegovina. In Yugoslavia, it is Slovenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Montenegro that have similarities. A lot of mountains and lakes and rivers. And Croatia and Serbia are more flat. We are approaching our hotel. In this high school, Bill Clinton came after the war to pay a visit, when he paid a visit. John Paul II came twice, Benedict as well, in Olympic Stadium. As I said, city was visited by stars, because we have the 4th most important film festival in Europe after Cannes, Venice and Berlin. So as you have seen in the tunnel, big stars like Kevin Spacey, Morgan Freeman, John Travolta, Richard Gere, De Niro, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Penelope Cruz. I mean, these stars, they have visited tunnel also, but also they have visited Sarajevo, because Sarajevo Film Festival, it happens every single year, and 250 movies, new movies, are screened in 11 cinemas. And also directors and actors come, like in Cannes and Venice, the same movies are screened, and Berlin. On the left side is a campus, university campus, and this tower there is a newspaper. It's one newspaper. You see across your hotel there is a Council of Ministers and Parliament of Bosnia. And behind are 2 towers that were under flame, you know, in flame in the video. And your hotel also was the target during the war. On the right side, this is exhibition here in this old socialist building. There's exhibition about siege of Sarajevo, and just in front is the National Museum. That is interesting, really interesting. If some people in free time have some time to visit the National Museum, also it's interesting because you have 5 departments dating from antique period up to nowadays. It's really interesting. It's a high school behind you. You're just in front of your hotel. So we can say from up to that part is really the center of Sarajevo, with Austro-Hungarian architecture you will see, and then Ottoman, and then medieval. And from this part towards the tunnel is a socialist kind of architecture. which is the least beautiful, as we have agreed. This National Museum is Austro-Hungarian. National Museum is Austro-Hungarian style. You see, it's much more beautiful than around the tunnel. These are two shopping centers. You have two shopping centers, Swiss Hotel, KFC. This is Council of Ministers, this building, and the Parliament of Bosnia and Herzegovina on the right side. This is Catholic Church and shopping center with a lot of shops. New Yorker, Waikiki. Also, you have Crvena jabuka, which is red apple. That is also a supermarket. You have nice food. You also have a restaurant, like you can choose whatever you want, like different kind of salads, and for people that want to eat outside, it's a good option. Just below your hotel, it's called Crvena jabuka, or red apple. So you see in front of you, you see already this Austro-Hungarian architecture that starts the center of Sarajevo. So now we turn to pick up your friends. And then we will go to the center. But you see from this side, this is the siege line. This mountain Trebević is there. So it was so close. And you had cannons and tanks, 250 as I said, that targeted the city. And you had snipers that have targeted people on this crossroad. It was so easy for them.
Destination at 11:07 a.m. There was no traffic jams. We are on time, I think.
5 minutes later.
They only see end of their own nose.
Came up to you just to stop.
I may need you to move these bollards. Back to work. Why they have also let this parking here, I don't know. It's really difficult. Yeah, for the buses. So welcome to...
That's okay.
Okay, we are now starting the city walking tour. So we are heading to the center, to the old town of the city. Welcome to the people that have joined us. Some people stayed in a hotel, those that were this morning with us. So we are trying to go out from this parking. As I have already said, we are happy that because it's sunny day today. We have had rain for several days and it stopped yesterday. Yes. So once again, we will now see the other part of the city. We have seen this side. Now we will go to the most interesting part of the city, and with a beautiful Austro-Hungarian architecture. So once again, this is the National Museum on the left side, and on the right side there, this is American Embassy. It is a huge one, really huge building. So you really see who is the boss here. We will go to the spot in front of the City Hall. It used to be also the National Library, National University Library. This will be the spot where you will meet to come back to the hotel around at 5 o'clock? 5:15. It will be the spot where you will meet after your free time as well. So it will be easy for you to remember. So now I will show you things on the way. towards the old town. And then the old town and the center, you can do everything by foot. It's not big, really, so you will not get lost. You know, Sarajevo is simple. It's just straight, you see. If you want to come from the city hall, for example, towards your hotel, you just go straight. You cannot get lost. I mean, even if you go left and right side, then again, the point is that you just continue to go straight, and then you will be nearby your hotel, you know. So don't worry about getting lost. You will not get lost here. So this is once again the Council of Ministers and Parliament of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Well, all the laws are voted and passed. On the left side is the Catholic Church. This is KFC and the shopping center. Yeah, KFC, you like it. And the Swiss hotel behind. Now if you look, these are Austro-Hungarian kind of facade that are much more beautiful than the socialist one that we have seen before. But here you still have the mix between these socialist old facades that are here, but again now we will just have Austro-Hungarian style. It has been renovated, these facades, and if you look carefully you will still see the holes from the bullets during this, from the siege of Sarajevo. You see on this one the holes and the patches on the facades that they try to repair. This one's a new one, also in Austrian style. On the right side is ice skating Olympic hall for the Olympic Games in 1984. On the left side is Olympic Stadium there and a new Olympic ice skating hall. This is Miljacka River. That is a small river, as you can notice. But when it's raining, it becomes higher in the level of the water. But still, it's a small river. It's not River Bosna that we have in the suburb of Sarajevo. It's a Miljacka River. On the right side, you see this beautiful building. This used to be Protestant church, but as we don't have Protestant community here, it became Academy of Plastic Art. So the students that study painting and sculpture are in this beautiful building. And you see this. This is a project from the artist Festina Lante Bridge, which means, when you translate from Latin, Festina Lante, go fast, slowly. Go slowly, fast. Something like that.
It's a nice bridge.
Yeah, it's a nice bridge. Yeah. But it's different from the building. I mean, it's another style. There is some artists that have done some sculptures and some art. You see here, like the people that are, you see over the river, these sculptures. Yeah, this is a nice one. This is the Faculty of Law. This is also Austro-Hungarian style. You see this statue on the buildings. It has not been renovated completely, so that's you still see the scars from the war. And this is the main post office. This post office was heavily bombed at the beginning of the siege. Why? To cut communications. To cut communications from Sarajevian people with the rest of the world. So I could not reach my father after 1 month of the siege, because this post office, main post office, was heavily bombed. Here is the National Theatre, where Sarajevo Film Festival screenings and ceremony and red carpet is in the other side is held. And as I said, there is almost around 250 films, new films that are screened in Cannes, Venice and Berlin, that are screened in Sarajevo every year, Sarajevo Film Festival. And that is the moment where all these stars come. In this building, socialist one, is Academy of Performing Arts, and these cafe bars are students from that study drama. And I mean, people that like this place to go. This is also, you can see the patches on this building as well from the war, and this is a high school. And then you will see different embassies. There have already been embassies behind. Here it's now again some Austro-Hungarian style of building and socialist, the mixture between socialist and Austro-Hungarian. This is the first gymnasium, first high school, the very important one for the good students. The Nobel Prize of Literature Ivo Andrić went to this high school, first gymnasium. This is the house of army of this side. You just go straight. What is this car?
Lamborghini.
Oh. How much money they give for?
Hundreds of thousands.
It's almost as expensive as a coach.
Really?
$250,000.
I'd rather have the coach.
I can do the same.
More room for activities.
You said Lamborghini?
Lamborghini, yeah.
Lamborghini.
Do a burnout. I could hear it though.
Just rev the coach. Like it's on top of the roads.
On the right side, there was Ashkenazi synagogue, Jewish synagogue. On the left side, you see this Austro-Hungarian style again of the facades from this side, so much more beautiful than the one before. And bridges. This is the where Franz Ferdinand killed, where Gavrilo Princip killed Franz Ferdinand, here on that spot. There are footsteps here. From this place he's shooted on Franz Ferdinand in the car, on Franz Ferdinand heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his wife Sofia. And this was one of the trigger for First World War. I mean, it was used as a trigger, as an argument by different axes, two axes, that alliances that wanted to go into war. Because it could have remained just a local war between Austria and Serbia, because Austria declared the war to Serbia straight ahead, of course. But it could have remained just a local war, but alliances decided to back, on one side Serbia, Russia and France and England backed Serbia, and Germany and Turkey backed Austria. This is City Hall. This is actually, you can go straight and you can let us in this spot. And later some of the buses park a little bit up. But normally we just go out on this spot with the groups and we start the tour here. And it will normally be the place where you will meet at 5:15, you know, in front of the City Hall. So now we will go to have this city walking tour.
What do you want to use to pick you up on the other side of the street?
Is that okay?
On the other side of the street, on this side.
Thank you.
You get picked up from the right.
No, at 5:15. Yeah. Thank you.
So do you want me to wait for you? Or?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You can go if you need to.
Yeah.
I'll make my own way back.
Like where are you going now?
Got a little walking tour. How long will the walking tour go for?
They said to me that
Thank you, Bob.
maybe
Thank you.
1 hour, but 1 hour and a half also can. I mean, you can't scan because now it's.
Thank you, Pav.
Thank you.
You go back. Don't wait around for me.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up to you. Nice one, Ted.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Thank you. Thank you.
Could be an hour and a half, so you can
All
get
right, I'm
back
going
on
back
my
to
taxi.
yeah.
Thank you.
So I see you at 5:15. 5:15, yeah?
Yes, please.
Other side of the street.
Other side, like literally just there,
Just here, yeah.
with the bins. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.